the good, wherein it was merely for the good, but it was not transformed into actual goodness. This is particularly so as we are now commencing the days of the month in which there is the joyous festival of Purim. Truth is, I'm reading this letter, but we are right before Purim, about which our Holy Torah states the month, means this is the true of the entire month, that was transformed for the Jews into a month of joy and Yom Tov, and holiday. Now the concept of transformation during this month means that the entire month is propitious for transforming those untoward events excuse me again, into a form of joy and Yom Tov and holiday that is palpable, revealing to us. All right, we should only have good things happening to us. We have time for maybe one or two more letters. So we'll keep on rolling because these are beautiful, and I'm sure you find that also. Our challenges are commensurate with our abilities. It saddened me to learn that your health is not as it should be. Surely a large part is merely nerves and imagination, as well as the fact of not serving God with joy, which according to the ruling of the Rambam, Maimonides, quoted in the Code of Jewish Law, includes all aspects of a Jew's life, including eating, drinking, etc. Frankly, I am surprised, for proper faith in God compels one to conclude a camel is only loaded according to its ability to bear the load. God does not demand of a person divine service that is beyond his capacity. Since maintaining a healthy and robust body is an integral part of divine service, surely this service does not in and of itself diminish a person's health. The fact is that at times, excuse me, that there are obstacles and difficulties, and at times it seems, and possibly it is quite true, that the obstacles and difficulties are abundant. Nevertheless, of that which is explained in the Tanya, which is a basic work of Chabad philosophy on the verse, it says, I have to explain this. It says we're talking on a very deeper Kabbalistic mystical sense. But I'm going to give you the basic idea first, and that is that when Jacob wanted to get the blessings from his father Isaac said beforehand, this is the quote, and make me delicacies such as I love. So we're going to learn it on a mystical term. It is known that the term delicacies is written in the plural, for there are two forms of delicacies and delights that one can give God. Spiritual service does not require battling evil, and service that does require a battle. However, even in the latter instance, one goes to battle with a joyous march, as known from a talk of my father-in-law. And he talked about there that you have a marching band or trumpets in an army. Well, what's an army? An army is not entertainment. They're fighting people. What's a band? What's music have to do with an army? It's not entertainment business. It's fighting unit. So it's interesting if you think about it. And the reason is, and that's what the previous rabbi said, there is, of course, a reason for it. Because when you go and you do something, and something obviously serious like going into battle, that you have to do it with joy. And then when you hear a march and you hear music, of course, you feel good when you hear music. That'll give you the advantage of going to battle with joy. And that's why there are marching bands in the Army and the Navy. Again, you can say, what's with bands with the Army? But that's the reason behind it. And that's also with us also in our personal levels, that even though things are difficult and there may be battles, nevertheless you go approach them with joy. Thus, regarding spiritual service requires a battle, it is to be done with joy, and it should not affect one's health, although it should be a matter of concern. The person has, like the Rebbe says, the person has to take care of their health. Very important. Now, we're not saying to forget about your health and only deal with the spiritual, but we're just saying that spirituality could be a component to your good health. But like I say at the beginning, I would say that a person has a broken arm, you don't start praying, you just go to the emergency room and get it fixed. All right, I think we have time for another letter, so we will do that. Even after true tragedy strikes, one should combat downheartedness. It pained me to learn that you are still in a downhearted mood. And according to my understanding, this is the mood in your household as well. I don't want to go on at length and enter into a debate as to whether your attitude is correct or not. Understandably, it does not take much contemplation to appreciate why you are all in such a frame of mind about the tragedy that occurred. May we all never know of such events again. The above notwithstanding, Jews in general and Hasidim in particular as believers are expected to unequivocally cleave to God, keeping their relationship with Him open, as the verse states, and you who cleave to the Lord your God are all alive today. Life, true life, does not mean simply marking time. It means that one's life lacks for nothing, with both the person and his family possessing their entire spiritual and material needs. Since the possibility exists that, God forbid, they have not earned this generous bounty from God, therefore the Holy Zohar, told you before, Zohar is the basic work written 2,000 years ago of Jewish mysticism, tenders the advice. This physical world and man in general, exists by the radiant countenance, the joy and positivity that is emitted from below. In like manner, they then draw down upon themselves the same qualities from above. Man's joy draws down a corresponding measure of joy from above. Concisely stated, when one strengthens himself in his betachon, his trust in God, that He will surely provide those matters with which a person can be in good spirits, happy and joyous, doing so in such a powerful manner that his betachon, his trust, affects his daily life. Then one draws down this divine beneficence from above. One of them verily sees that his betachon, his trust, was justified. May God help you that your wife and your entire family experience this as quickly as possible and in a discernible manner as possible. Well, a very good show today. I think that I personally love these letters from the Rebbe, and hopefully that's why I read them, because I hope they're beneficial to you also, and I'm sure they are if you take them to heart. A person has to have trust in God. It's good for every person. It's a universal message, and it's also a message that we can take in our everyday lives. We don't have to separate, well, that's nice to be religious, but listen, everybody, you go through life, you have to be happy and not depressed. And that should affect your trust in God, should affect your everyday life in that sense. And like I say, and I'm not a doctor to say that, but other people have written that a good attitude does actually affect your physical health. Not everything maybe, but in any case, many, many things. If you have a good attitude, and that's really with some medical science also. My sister is an oncologist. She lives in Pittsburgh, and obviously an oncologist, doctor of cancer. We should know from it. And she just says clearly, and she's really a straight scientist to tell you the truth. But on the other hand, that what she says is that I see when the patients come in with a good positive attitude, and they may be slight physically, they're going to continue on. And you get you'd think a bigger person, that they would be living longer. But once they say, I've had it, it's enough, I give up hope, then they go downhill very, very, very fast. So in any case, we should only have good attitudes, positive attitudes, and we should have a good life spiritually and also physically. And thank you for tuning into the Jewish View.